Officer Wilson spoke out. "Hey, folks, we got a call. There's been disturbances and suspicious stuff going down here. You mind we search the area?" It all started as a birthday party. Laughter, balloons, and a backyard full of joy. Until a single phone call turned the celebration into suspicion. The sound of laughter, children, balloons, and the faint crackle of barbecue fire. The Jeffersons were celebrating their daughter's 9th birthday in their backyard. Pink balloons brushing against the fence, music humming softly, and the scent of grilled corn wafting through the quiet suburban air of Maplewood Lane. But next door, behind half-closed blinds, Mrs. Ellen Carver watched. Her manicured fingers tightened around her wine glass as she murmured, "There they go again." She wasn't angry. Not really. She was entitled. Entitled to peace. Entitled to control. Entitled to the illusion that her neighborhood was hers alone. When a balloon popped, she flinched and hissed, "Fireworks again? Not here." So she did what her kind of person often does when discomfort dresses up as fear. She picked up the phone and dialed 911. "There's a disturbance next door," she said, her tone calm but suggestive. "A large group of people, loud music, maybe drinking. I feel unsafe. No weapon, no fight, no chaos. Just a black family singing happy birthday. But fear doesn't need facts. It just needs imagination." As she hung up, she looked out the window once more. The father, tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a gray t-shirt, lifted his daughter into the air as she laughed. For a brief second, he caught her staring. He smiled. She didn't. Inside the Jefferson home, Tanya Jefferson, the mother, was slicing cake. "Baby, get your daddy," she said to her son. "Tell him to grab the plates from the kitchen." Her husband, Marcus Jefferson, was a quiet man, the kind whose strength lived in stillness. His neighbors knew little about him except that he left early, came home late, and drove a dark SUV with tinted windows. 15 minutes later, the sound of distant sirens sliced through the laughter. The streetlights flickered. 3 police cruisers pulled up, engines low, tires whispering over asphalt. Children froze. Adults exchanged uncertain glances. Tanya's heart skipped. It was the kind of scene every black family rehearses silently. Stay calm. Stay respectful. Stay alive. The first officer, Sergeant Wilson, stepped out, hand resting on his holster. "Evening, folks," he said, eyes scanning the crowd. "Got a call about a disturbance." Tanya's voice trembled. "Disturbance? We're celebrating my daughter's birthday." A small voice piped up, the birthday girl herself. "We were singing, sir." The officer's jaw tightened, unsure whether to smile or to order silence. "Ma'am, can I speak to the homeowner?" From the window next door, Ellen Carver peered out, phone still in hand, pretending not to watch the chaos she had summoned. Then the front door opened, and Marcus Jefferson stepped out. Not in the gray shirt anymore, but in his full U.S. Army dress uniform, polished shoes, medals glinting under the porch light, cap straight, shoulders squared. The air changed. The officer's stance softened almost involuntarily. "Sir, you, Marcus met his eyes, calm but cold. "You got a call about a disturbance?" "Yes, sir. We just, had to respond." "Protocol," Marcus nodded. "Protocol," he repeated. "I understand." Behind him, his daughter clutched his leg. His wife stood frozen, her hands trembling. The music had stopped, but the humiliation lingered in the air, like smoke that wouldn't clear. Then his eyes drifted upward, across the yard, to the lit window next door, and there, behind the curtain, Ellen Carver's pale face flickered like guilt under candlelight. Their eyes met. She froze. For the first time that night, she felt unsafe. The officers left soon after, their apologies quiet, their eyes averted. "Just a misunderstanding," they said. But everyone knew, misunderstandings don't arrive with sirens. The guests went home slowly, shaking their heads. Tanya gathered the leftover balloons. Marcus stayed on the porch, silent, watching the red and blue lights fade down the street. When he finally spoke, his voice was low but sharp. "Every time we try to belong, someone reminds us we don't." He walked back inside, unpinned his medals one by one, and set them on the table. "Freedom," he said, "feels smaller when you have to prove it in your own driveway." The next morning, the neighborhood group chat buzzed. Ellen tried to explain herself. "I didn't mean any harm. I just thought—" But the words died beneath the replies. "You thought wrong. You could have knocked." "Their daughter's birthday, Ellen." "Really?" Later that day, she saw Marcus again. He was outside washing his car, his sleeves rolled up, quiet as ever. She hesitated, then approached with a nervous smile. I didn't know you were military." He didn't look up. "Would that have stopped you from calling?" Her face flushed. "I just thought something was wrong." He turned then, slowly, his gaze precise, steady. "Something was wrong," he said, "but not here." She swallowed hard. "I'm sorry." He nodded once. "You're sorry you got it wrong," he said. "Not that you saw us as wrong." Silence. Then he went back to scrubbing the car, firm, deliberate, unbothered. The water splashed against chrome, catching the sunlight like defiance. That night, Ellen couldn't sleep. The sound of the Jefferson children laughing next door now sounded different. Not like noise, but like survival, like joy refusing to apologize. In the days that followed, the story spread. Someone had recorded part of the scene, the police cars, the little girl clutching her father's uniformed leg. It went viral. "Birthday while black" trended for days. Ellen deleted her social media. The world moved on, but the neighborhood didn't forget. Weeks later, on Veterans Day, the local paper ran a story. "Major Marcus Jefferson, U.S. Army Intelligence, honored for distinguished service." The photo showed him in uniform, saluting beside his wife and children. In the corner of the frame, half out of focus, stood Ellen Carver, watching, clutching the small flag she hadn't earned, realizing too late that some uniforms protect more than nations. Months passed. Maplewood Lane became quieter, humbler. Ellen started volunteering at the community center, not out of guilt but awareness. Sometimes awareness hurts more than shame. One evening, she passed by the Jefferson home again. Music played softly. Children laughed. Marcus was on the porch, reading. He looked up, met her eyes, and for the first time, smiled. Not out of forgiveness, but finality. That smile told her everything. "I didn't need your approval to be respected. I only needed you to see what you refused to see." She nodded back. Quiet. Changed. The world didn't end that night, but something else did. The quiet arrogance that hides behind "I didn't mean to." And in its place grew something colder, truer, sharper. Justice doesn't always roar. Sometimes it just stands in uniform and makes silence bow. Some stories don't end with revenge. They end with truth. If this story moved you, don't just scroll, share it. Someone needs to hear it tonight. At Hidden Tales Stories, we tell stories that speak truth through fiction. Stories that expose arrogance, reveal hidden injustice, and celebrate quiet strength. Join the conversation below. Have you ever seen someone judged before being understood? Do you think the neighbor would have called 911 if it were a different family? Why do people respect the uniform more than the person wearing it? Do you think quiet dignity is more powerful than loud revenge? What lesson did this story leave you with today? Drop your thoughts below, and let's talk about what justice really means. Like, comment, and share if you believe every voice deserves respect. Subscribe to Hidden Tales Stories for more true-to-life cinematic stories that awaken conscience and inspire change.